Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. And I'm coming to you from a place called Heraion on the other side of the Corinthian Gulf, from Kyoto, Corinth, and it's an ancient place over here. And I'll show you later on a place called Heraion down here in the center of the video. It's an ancient port. It's just before sunrise. We'll have the sun rising over there behind that mountain, and I've got a time lapse happening to try and capture it. But it is absolutely magnificent over here. I'm up high on the cliff. There's some young blokes down there fishing off the rocks, and I'll go swimming down there as well at some point. And there's a little rocky outcrop there that I'll try and swim out to and around. And I'll remember back a few years ago, I was swimming here with my auntie Anna, and it's great memories coming back here. If you look closely at the screen here, what I'll show you is when we look across to the other side, what we can see there is the Corinthian Canal, which is quite cool. And if I zoom back in, you can see that there are some goats over here on the cliffside as well, keeping me company. So really special, really cool, a beautiful, beautiful place here in Greece, where you can come to swim and be one with nature, one with God, away from the riffraff of the thousands of tourists that frequent the Greek islands. And you can be one. You can come here and just feel absolutely free. So where else in the world can you go and swim in an ancient port that has ancient sites, and do it without having anybody blowing a whistle at you and telling you what to do and what not to do? Here in this part of Greece, you're free to do whatever you want, whenever you want, at any time you want. And another beautiful story that I'd like to share with you is that many years ago, my grandfather, Petros Kalpaxis, swam over here. Let me just get a couple of photos of those goats first. Swam over here with some of his friends from the other side there, from the harbour in Kyoto. And the reason why he swam this 14-kilometre span of Corinthian Gulf to come over here was that as a young man there was a ram that was for sale over here, and he needed a ram for his kopadi, for his sheep herd. So instead of walking all the way around from Kyoto to Corinth to Loutraki and all the way around, which would have been 60 or 70 kilometres, what they decided to do was to simply swim across. They must have had some sort of buoyancy support to help them, and they swam all the way across. So he and I think two friends of his, made the journey and swam all the way across here to pay for and collect the ram. And then what they did is they took a few days then to walk it back across and all the way around to do the 50 or 60 kilometers and take it back to Vasiliko at Heraion, where he would use it as a stud to breed with the rest of his ewes. So a remarkable feat, something that I've always wanted to do, but I've never gotten round to doing it, and probably won't ever get round to doing it as well. But it was always one of the dreams that I had. But it just goes to show that we have heroes, we have significant others that have gone before us and have done things that are absolutely tremendous. And when I look at that rocky outcrop down there, it becomes obvious to me why this place here became, I guess, so honourable. How can I describe it? You know, back to 2,500 years ago, because that actually looks like a head of a woman who's looking across the bay to Corinth, and it makes sense that somebody could have suggested or thought that this is a godlike figure, a figure that needs to be honoured, and built a port over here to join with the other side there, because Corinth and Kiato and Heraion were trading hubs for many, many years, joining east with west, north with south, pagan with Christian, and was the melting pot which drew and attracted the best minds, the best artists, the best leaders from all over the known world, and at one point was more significant, more important, more strategic than what Athens was. So Greece had over 1,500 city-states, which meant that Greece had a distributed sort of economic power. Each city-state had its own army, its own governing body, and its own kingdom, and there were warring factions amongst each of these city-states, and there was a level of competition amongst the city-states as well that ensured growth, development, ingenuity and progress. And places like Corinth and at Heraion would go far and across the waters and set up other support colonies in places like Italy. So there was a fair level of competition, and that competition brought out the best amongst the Greeks, and as I said, was a melting pot and a magic glue that drew and bound people, cultures, ideas, thoughts together to make this region, this part of the world, one of the most powerful parts of the world during those formative years when Western civilization was being created. Democracy, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, and all of those things were being expressed and developed. What I say to all my friends and family is that the Greek mainland has so much to offer the tourist, and especially the Peloponnese, because the Peloponnese is the engine room of Greece. It houses, or it has a significant population, and in ancient times had a number of city-states that help shape the history and the culture and the traditions of all of Greece, and exported its people, exported its ideas, exported its art, its thought patterns, its mindset to other parts of the world, and has made a significant impact on humanity and who we are today. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. The little bonus today were to see these goats, these wild goats, just enjoying the rocks, the rocky outcrops and the hillside here. And for me to be able to share with you my Greece, my part of Greece, and to share this beautiful sunrise. And I'll go over the other side here just to show you how rugged and how beautiful the coastline is and how expansive it is, for us to once again appreciate the Peloponnese and the greatness and the beauty, the raw beauty, the real authentic beauty, the real authentic Greece, so that we have an option, we have some choices, we have something else to talk about, somewhere else to visit, rather than to be simply restricted to the Greek islands and to be overwhelmed and overcome by the constipation of tourism and having our pockets regularly torn to shreds. So take some time to discover the authentic Greece, the mainland Greece, the Peloponnese, and understand that this land has been conquered time and time again, and yet the Greeks, the mighty Greeks, to their credit, have fought and have defended this land time and time again, ensuring and making sure that the freedom is maintained, democracy is preserved, freedom of expression is respected, and the authenticity of Greek thought is protected. I absolutely love this part of Greece, and as I said before, both of my parents and my grandparents came from the other side here of this area, of this expanse of water, They came from a place called Heraion, which is about 5 kilometers inland from Kyoto. And it was here that generations of my family have grown and developed. And as we can see here, we've got the sun just peaking above that mountain over there, and we've got the first light for the day, another beautiful day. And it's such a special moment. I'm doing a time lapse, so I'll be able to share that with everybody as well. I've got the camera over there on the rocks. And every time I came here to Greece as a young bloke, I came here in 82, I remember going home and asking my parents, why did you leave Greece? It's so beautiful. The climate is just absolutely perfect. Summer is dry. There's usually never ever a cloud in the sky. The sky seems to go forever. I remember my sister-in-law coming to Australia and saying, I just feel claustrophobic in Australia because the sky just looks so much closer to the earth. Whereas here in Greece, as I say, the sky just seems to look so much higher and seems to go forever. And the water temperatures here are sublime. The water temperatures here in summer are 26 degrees, and you can spend the whole day in the water. You can spend the whole day swimming. You can spend the whole day at the beach. You can get yourself a beach chair, a beach umbrella, and have full service alcohol and food throughout the day and into the evening, like a 6-star hotel. And as I say, the important thing to realise is that it comes at a fraction of the price, a fraction of the stress that you would have if you're on a Greek island, having your pockets shredded and your patience tested. So what I'll do shortly is I'll make my way down to the port, the ancient port of Heraion, and just take some video down there, and also go for a swim and just show you around. And I'll see if I can make my way around to where those young blokes and goats were on the other side. And to take some time just to capture my thoughts, to find peace and to enjoy this cliffside position where I am, where there's hundreds of meters of drop down there to those rocks. It is a sheer drop. I'm on the edge of the cliff here, as I say, and I'll just hang the camera over the side, and it is quite frightening and quite overwhelming. And I look up there on the lighthouse and I can see a tent on the roof. How wonderful would it be to sleep outdoors and have the breeze here cool you and comfort you at night. And as I say to my friends and family of the diaspora, I say it time and time again, and I will remind you and everybody of what I say as well. There isn't a rock, there isn't a pebble, there isn't a grain of sand here in Greece that doesn't have your name, my name, indelibly inscribed upon it. And the breeze that blows over the water, through the trees, through the reeds and brushes and bushes, continuously and without end calls out your name, my name, and welcomes us back to Greece so that Greece can hug us, can welcome us, can love us, and to treat us as one of her own. So make your way to Greece whenever you can, and know that you belong. We all belong here, and that you don't have to be Greek by birth. You don't have to have Greek DNA. You don't have to live in Greece. You don't have to be born in Greece to be Greek. Because to be Greek is more than just a bloodline. It's a state of being. It's a way of living. It's a way of thinking. So if you accept, respect, and support and protect freedom of speech, freedom of choice, freedom of expression, freedom of democracy, and the love of your neighbour and the love of God, then you are as much Greek as anybody else. And that the Greekness that I talk about has infused all of the cultures throughout the world. There's never been a time where the Greeks were not deeply religious, and religion and the love of God influenced every single thing that they did. They lived for religion. They lived to serve their God. They lived to express their love of God and to do the things that were God-pleasing. And it's fair to say that the ancient Greeks, just like most ancient cultures, lost their way for a little while, where they became pagan, they became polytheists. But the important thing to understand is that the Greeks quickly assimilated and accepted and passed on the Word of God in the New Testament, and that St. Paul spent many years in Greece. He actually spent at least 18 months in Corinth as a tent maker, because just like the people from Olympia had the Olympic Games, the people from Corinth here had the Isthmian Games, something parallel to the Olympic Games, which also included things such as poetry and other competitions to allow people to express themselves as best they could, and to benchmark and baseline their skills against people from other cultures or from other parts of Greece, from other city-states, and to help each other grow, develop, and become better. So there you go. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode. I've rabbited on for a while, but it is indeed beautiful to be here and to be part of this landscape and to welcome in another beautiful, beautiful sunrise. And the thing that I absolutely love about Greece is its predictability. Because the climate is predictable, because the weather is so glorious, you know that every single morning, if you get up, then you're going to see a magnificent sunrise, a perfect sunrise. and a perfect sunset. You don't have to go to Santorini to chase the sunrises or the sunsets. There are beautiful sunsets and sunrises all over Greece. It's not just Santorini. There's nightlife, there's beach culture all over Greece. You don't have to go to Mykonos. So for the seasoned tourist, just understand that there are options, and the Greek mainland is something that needs to be discovered and acknowledged, and I guess enjoyed. Because at the end of the day, God wants us all to enjoy His creation and to do the things that are God-pleasing and to serve Him and to serve each other. And Greece is a place where Philotimo is highly prized, highly regarded and highly respected. And you can probably, I guess, understand that this country has a soul and has a beauty about it that just makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, makes you feel welcomed, makes you feel good, good, makes you feel sexy. I don't know. I can't explain it. You need to come to Greece to experience Greece, because it can't be described. It can only be experienced, I guess is the best way of putting it. Anyway, ciao for now, and we'll chat again shortly. Bye.